Thank you guys so much for tuning in to another episode of Sip and Read with Martinique. This is actually a virtual book club, and I'm so excited that you guys have decided to tune in to the show today. So we are actually talking about a book called #Girl Boss, and we're talking about chapters 5 and 6 today. If this is your first time ever tuning into the show, thank you so much for just taking time out your busy schedule to watch the show. So, to let you know a little bit about this book, the author, Sophia Amoruso, she actually built a $28 million company for herself that sells vintage clothing. So we're just learning more about how she did it. So this book is really for entrepreneurs, regardless if you're a male or female. And what I do in Sip and Read, the book club, I discuss each chapter. So if you need to catch up on your chapters 1 through 4, make sure you go ahead and go to my YouTube channel and you can catch up on your chapters there. While you're there at my YouTube channel, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel, which is Martinique the Storyteller. All of my contact information is in the description box. Also, make sure that you follow me on Instagram. And make sure that you send me a friend request so that you will always be notified when I'm posting new shows, when I'm looking for individuals to be on my shows and things like that. Please make sure you go ahead and share this video now. Share. If you truly enjoy the shows that I create and produce, make sure you go ahead and go to my GoFundMe page and just give a financial give. Any amount is a blessing to me because it does take money to actually produce these shows. And so if you're not into GoFundMe, that's totally okay because I do have CashApp as well. And like I said before, all of the information is in the description box. Chapter 5 is actually entitled Money Looks Better in the Bank Than on Your Feet. So we automatically know she's going to be talking about specifically finances and money in this chapter. So one of the quotes that's listed on the first page of this chapter is, "There is no dignity quite so impressive and no independence quite so important as living within your means." And that quote is actually by Calvin Coolidge. So in the beginning of this chapter, you actually learn to So in the beginning of this chapter, she actually says that if you learn to control your finances, you won't find yourself stuck in jobs, places, and relationships that you hate just because you can't afford to go elsewhere. And I think that that's so critical to remember that when we put ourselves in a financial situation, when we prepare ourselves financially, then we are less likely to accept any type of job, be with any type of person, because sometimes I think about women who are in relationships just for being provided for that guy. So what if they're in a relationship with a guy that they moved in with and they're no longer interested in this guy, but they feel that they have to stay in that relationship because they have nowhere else to go? And so I feel that although that's off topic, I just think it goes hand in hand with really just learning how to get yourself financially stable so that you won't have to just accept anything in your life, be it job or relationship. And so Sophia also mentions how when people write about Nasty Gal and how she built her $28 million company, that she actually did it without borrowing a dime. She didn't borrow any money from any financial institutions, but the part that they leave out is no financial institution would give her a business loan. there were no companies that would give her a credit card because she messed up her credit so bad when she was younger. And so one of the things that I felt that was really important that she said was she actually just bust her butt, day one to make it profitable. And one of the things that my friend actually posted on Facebook one time was, and I know that some people might say, oh, that's not much money, but you have to start somewhere. So she was saying, we can't look at somebody that is making $60,000 in their business and be hateful or jealous of them, because then you have to look at yourself and say, am I putting in $60,000 worth of work, for that yearly profit? And that's one of the things that really stuck with me. I do want to make all this money with my business, but day by day, am I really putting in that much work to really make that much money in the end? And so I really have to just challenge myself with that. And so I really like the fact that Sophia mentions that, from day one, she just bust her butt and really just was focused on making her business profitable. So some of the things that Sophia wants us to remember when we're building our credit or maintaining a good credit score is just stay on top of your bills. And with those bills, not just your utility bills or your mortgage or your rent and things like that, but, the little things that we seem to forget about sometimes, like our tolls. Because remember, if you don't pay that at a certain time, then you can incur late fees on that. And so that's extra money that's coming out of your pocket, coming out your business's pocket, that you could really be putting back forth towards your business to make it profitable and successful. Parking tickets is a big one. Don't forget about those. Don't neglect those fines that you have. Another one is department store credit cards. Make sure that you only get credit cards that you need. Now, I only have one credit card, and the credit card that I have is one of those credit cards that actually helps you to build your credit. So my credit card has a limit of $500 on it, but I got this from my credit union, but I had to give the credit union $500 in order for them to put that on my card. And so that's a really good card to have to build your credit. And one of the things that I decided to focus on is paying off that card, because just looking at the interest that I'm incurring from that money could be going towards something else. Although it's only $6.30 each month, it doesn't matter. That amount adds up. And so remember, we have to begin having a millionaire mindset, and millionaires don't pay fees because they pay off their things in time, so they don't have to incur those fees. So just be mindful of those things. Some credit cards you don't need. And I think that we have to really just learn self-discipline in this area, spending money that we don't have. And I know that can be a major challenge, but you really have to focus on what your goal is financially, and that will really just help you to make the best decisions when it comes to your credit score. So another thing that she said to keep in mind for building your credit or maintaining good credit is don't put all of the utility bills in your name if you have roommates. So she's talking about individuals that have roommates, and you're that person that's like, okay, well, I'll put everything in my name. But what about when that roommate doesn't pay you for that utility bill? Then the burden is on your shoulder to pay that utility bill, unless you don't pay it and then you get late fees. And then when you get late fees, and if you don't pay it, then your utility bill is going to send your information to a collection agency. So you have to be mindful of these things. And another thing she said, if you are worried about that individual not paying the bill, if that utility bill is in their name, then maybe you don't need to have that individual as your roommate. And we have to take the emotion out of it when we're making that decision to live with a family member or friend, because if their credit isn't good, then you have to look at why their credit isn't good. Is it somebody that you want to be connected with financially? Is it somebody that you want to be on a lease with? Because if you're on the lease with them and they don't pay their portion, somebody has to pay it. And remember, if you don't pay it, and then you have to, I can't think of the word for some reason, but if you are, told to evacuate your apartment, then remember, your information is going to go to the collection agency. So you have to be very wise. Even if you don't have a business right now, just remember, just because they no longer send you a bill doesn't mean that they've forgotten about you. That just means that you've been sent to a collection agency and you're going to start getting phone calls. So just be mindful of your future goals as well, even if you haven't started your own business yet. So another thing is, she said, stop ignoring overdue notices. And one of the things that I recommend is that don't ignore those overdue notices that companies send you. Contact them and ask them if you can get on a payment plan. So if you all don't know this about me, I have worked 1,000,001 jobs, it seems like. So I actually used to work for a collection agency. And the collection agency that I worked for, we were I felt like we worked with people. And when I say that is, we worked with people because we gave people a payment plan. Even if you could just pay $5 a month, that was fine. It was more so about getting something on your account that was recurring, so that we would know that you're at least trying to pay off that bill. And so I think you really have to stop being so fearful of talking with these collection agencies if your account has gone to that company. Now you have to be focused on restoring your credit now. So you need to contact them, let them know how much you can pay. If they say that that's not enough and they give you an amount, see if you can negotiate it. And I am the queen of negotiating. I'm not saying I'm the queen because I always get the amount that I want, but I'm saying I'm the queen at negotiating because I don't mind negotiating. I don't mind asking for a lower amount. And you always want to go with a much lower amount and then work your way up with that. So I'll charge you guys later for that tip. But negotiating is really good. And don't be fearful of letting somebody know, that company know of your situation and what you can pay. So I have a question for you all. So my question on the table is there anything you can give up to build or maintain your credit? And when I say give up, I know it's so hard for some people to give up cable. It's hard for some people to give up going out. But I think that we have to remember that the small sacrifices that we make right now for the bigger end goal. And I don't have cable. I've just never really I love watching certain shows that's on cable, but I don't want to put my money towards that, towards that additional bill. So I watch a lot of my shows online. And one of the shows that I really like is Project Runway. And Amazon allows you to actually purchase an entire season for like, I think it's $18, something like that. And so, I'm not stuck into a cable bill contract, but like I said, there's only certain shows. So, maybe not saying to cut your shows out altogether, but maybe there's a different route that you can actually go through in order to watch the shows you like, so that you're not stuck in that 12-month contract with a cable company. So Sophia's dad actually began to teach her that cash is king. And after him and her mother filed for bankruptcy. So, when I was growing up, my sister had told me, my older sister, she said, you really want to stay away from credit cards. And I really didn't listen to her. And remember, this was about 15 years ago. So in my 20s, I had credit cards, and I didn't have a lot. I didn't have like 10 or nothing like that, ridiculous. But I probably had about 3. And so I remember there were a couple of things that I purchased with my credit card. So I purchased a bedroom set. And I remember when I was living in New Orleans, so I purchased this bedroom set, and then I was living in New Orleans, and I had just gotten there to go to school for seminary. And this had to be about 5 years later. 5 years later, I'm still paying for this bedroom set because I purchased it on a credit card. And so I was working one of these jobs where I was going door to door to ask people if they were interested in painting estimates. And I hated that job so much. And after I paid off all of my credit cards, I said, never again will I get myself in this type of financial situation that I'll use credit cards, because it's just not worth it. The interest that you're paying, I didn't even have this bedroom set anymore, and I'm still paying on that bedroom set. And I'm just like, Martinique, this is foolish. So like I said, I only have my one credit card that's with $500. And once I pay off that credit card, the maximum that I will put on that credit card is only $25, because I am in that mindset now of cash is king. If I can't afford to pay for it, and I know that, with those bigger purchases, you probably need the credit and everything. But right now, where I'm at in my life, I don't have major purchases like that. And so if I can't pay for it with cash, then I'm not going to purchase it. And, that's just the bottom line, because I just hate paying more than what that tag price was. So another thing to remember is, do not increase your spending as soon as your income increases. With savings, Sophia recommends saving 10% of your income every year. She says to treat your savings like another bill that has to be paid. And I thought that was a good principle that she actually is trying to teach individuals. So another piece of advice is to begin getting comfortable with talking about money. An approach of financial, and to approach a financial decision calmly and rationally as possible, and take your emotions out of it. And she's really talking about when you are talking to other businesses and you're negotiating prices with them, and she also touches on when you're asking for a raise and things like that, or, you need to readdress, your salary or anything that deals with money. She says, just start to become more comfortable doing it, because like I said, in her book, she's had to make do a lot of negotiating deals and things like that. But she negotiated everything. She said, she had no problem negotiating getting a lower price when she was at a thrift store for an item she wanted to sell. And so I think that sometimes we become fearful of asking for a lower price, but all the person can say is no, and so I think that we have to become a lot more comfortable with doing that, because it's our money. And remember, the money that we're able to save can go towards our business. So if you're just tuning into the show, make sure that you go ahead and share this video now. Make sure that you also go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel and follow me on Instagram. So the book we're actually talking about is called #GirlBoss, and we're talking about chapters 5 and 6 today. So I'm just talking to everyone about chapter 5 right now. And so that's chapter 5. So with chapter 6, she entitles that chapter Hocus-Pocus, the Power of Magical Thinking. So one of the quotes for this chapter is, treat your mind like your money. Don't waste it. And that was a really great quote to me. And I'm going to let you know why it's such a great quote to me, because I was reading this book called Me Incorporated. And that book is actually written by Gene Simmons, the guy from Kiss, the band that wears the makeup and everything. And if you ever get to read that book is so good, because it teaches you how he began to focus on himself and made himself a brand. And I just never thought of it like that. And so he said, who are you to blame when you don't take time to learn things that you don't know about? And if you're able to read, if you're able to ask people questions, there is nothing that can stop us from learning more and more and more. And one of the challenges that I found myself in, I enjoy reading, but I have a problem with discipline. So my problem with discipline right now has been with social media. So I can get on Facebook, be on Facebook for 10 minutes, get off Facebook. Within the next 30 minutes, I'm back on Facebook for another 10 minutes. And so all of those minutes begin to add up. And so it's not like I don't have time. I don't put forth that discipline that's needed to learn more and more information to help me to be the best businesswoman, to help me to be knowledgeable about more things. And so I think we have to, I'm not even going to say we, because this might not be a struggle for you. But I know for me, I have to really focus on being more disciplined, staying off of the computer, social media, when I'm not doing work for my business or trying to build my clientele, and just focus on reading these books and implementing what they're teaching. So that's why I really just like that quote, treat your mind like money, don't waste it, because we are so smart. And I just feel that if we were to really put forth an effort to do the things that we want, we can become a lot more successful. So that's what I really just challenged myself in doing. So Sophia actually starts this chapter by saying we control our thoughts and our thoughts control our lives. So she actually teaches that, let's see. So I'm reading from page 119. She actually teaches that even if growing a huge business was never a singular goal, every small choice that I made along the way was something that contributed to where I am now. Every time I got up in the morning, instead of saying screw it and sleeping in, every time I spent a few extra minutes on a product description to make it perfect, I was choosing my fate and sowing the seeds of my future. And I just want to say, as a entrepreneur, as a businesswoman, I think that is one of the hardest things to do, is the small things, putting forth your best foot forward for those small things. Now, if you're doing something grand, yes, you do focus on making it great. But what about those small things? And what challenged me was I received an email from one of my guests that was on my show. And so it was a pretty lengthy email. And I knew that I was going to have to really just take some time to respond to this email appropriately. And so I didn't respond to that email in 5 days, and that's not great customer service. I need to be focused on great customer service. I need to be focused on creating quality videos, information videos. That's what I need to be focusing on. And every step of the way, anything in between, need to be done with greatness. And that's how I become successful. That's how my business becomes and is known as being a business of quality. That's how I become known as somebody that really respects their clients. And so that's what I want to be known for, but I cannot negate those small things that's going to create the reputation that I want to have. And so we cannot forget about the small things that makes us great as a whole. And so that I'm really glad that she pointed that out, in that chapter, because you're not a success overnight. And the day-to-day mundane things that you do determines how successful you are going to be. So then Sophia begins to talk about visualizing the life that you want for yourself and working for it. I'm so happy that she actually said working for it, because Sophia is not into the whole, okay, you think it and then you'll achieve it. No, you have to put some action behind this thinking. You need to put some real steps behind what you are doing. And that takes time. That takes planning, but I think sometimes we forget about that planning part, because it does take time, to do. So I'm really glad that she said work towards it. Work towards what you're visualizing, for yourself. So what she says on chapter 119 is each time you show up to work and work hard and do your best at everything you can do, you're planting seeds for a life that you can only hope will grow beyond your wildest dreams. Take care of the little things, even the little things that you hate, and treat them as promises to your own future. And that's something that I just thought was really, really great to read, because we do need to be reminded of those small things. Those small things matter. And we do need to be reminded that we need to be working towards excellence. And, if you have to take a break, a step back, when you do see that your work is lagging or not of good quality, then you do have to step back, take a break, and then get back at it. But if you're not used to giving great service, if you're not used to setting high expectations for yourself, then remember your goal. Your goal is to be the best in that industry. Your goal is to be the best in this field. And so you have to possibly even pair yourself up with somebody in that industry that is great at what they're doing. Even if it's not somebody in that industry, maybe you really like the way that somebody else offers customer service. Take some time and spend time with them and find out how are you able to juggle it all and still give quality work to your clientele. And so I'm really glad that she mentioned that part. And so it's just a really great statement, to work hard. But I think with my struggle is the day-to-day mundane things to create something, And so that's what I challenge myself with on a daily basis. I have to get my mind right and say, okay, Martinique, you have to do such and such. You have to do what you tell clients you're going to do. That's what I have to challenge myself with. So I might tell a client, okay, I'll send you the edited video, the finalized video of you on the show in 5 days. It's 7 days later. Have I sent them their video? No. And those are the small things that help you to build a great reputation that we need to focus on. If you tell somebody you're going to do something, do it. If you find out that you're not able to do it, typically you don't find out that you're not able to do something that day of. You usually find out that you're not able to do something days before. So when you do find that out, you have to really just humble yourself and let that person know that you're not able to do it. And I think we're so fearful of being honest with people when we're not able to do what we're saying we're going to do. But that still hurts your reputation when you don't do it, So don't just think, oh, that person forgot. It's not about the other person forgetting. It's about you having that integrity, as that businesswoman, as that businessman, to challenge yourself to do what you say you're going to do. And so, it probably sounds like, I'm fussing at people, but really I'm talking to myself, because these are things that I have to constantly remind myself of who and what type of businesswoman that I want to be, the type of reputation that I want. And the only way that you're able to be a businesswoman, a businessman of integrity is by challenging yourself with those small things and incorporating them throughout your business, throughout your services, throughout whatever you offer these individuals and your clients. And that's the way that you build more clients for yourself, by doing what you say you're going to do, because the next person will recommend you to somebody. If you are supposed to start on time, if you're supposed to start at 7, start at 7. And that's why I'm so intentional about starting my shows on time, because I want to be viewed as a professional web show host and producer. When you watch Oprah's show, did she start at 4:01? No, her show started at 4:00 on the dot. And so I want people to look at me as a professional. And the only way that people are able to look at you as a professional is if you look at yourself as a professional. So now, I hate going to stores and their hours say 10 to 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. And I get there at 10:30 and nobody's there. You are a business. I don't understand it. You cannot do that. You are supposed to be professional. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Make sure you visit my description box. We're going to be talking about chapter 7 and 8 next week. Same time, same place, 7 p.m. Eastern, here on Facebook. Make sure you go ahead and share this video now so that other people will have a better understanding of Girl Boss, the book, as well as Sophia Amoruso, and just be encouraged with how she created a $28 million business. If you're interested in purchasing her book, the link can be found in the description box as well. Make sure you follow me on Instagram. Make sure you also subscribe to my YouTube channel, which is Martinique the Storyteller. All of the links can actually be found in the description box. If you truly enjoy the shows that I host and produce, make sure you just give a financial gift. It's such a blessing to me. No amount is too small. You can go to my GoFundMe page, and the link is in the description box, or you can give on my Cash App. And I hope you guys have a blessed day, and I'll talk to y'all later. Bye-bye. Oh, if you need to catch up on the shows, make sure you visit YouTube so you can catch up on chapters 1 through 4.